Alright guys, today we're looking at the Armourfast Achilles. I'm really starting to like these Armourfast kits. I've had a few of them over the years, and more recently we've done a few of them here in the wilds of Tipperary. We did the Hellcat and the Jagdpanther and a few others. And you've seen one or two of the videos, I presume, on those. If not, please check them out, like and subscribe and all that business. But today we're looking at the Achilles by Armourfast, which is something I've only just picked up recently. I'd meant to have it for a long time, I never did. Great thing about the Armourfast, of course, is, as you see down here, you get two kits in the box. Now, they are a rapid assembly, so there's not a huge amount of detail on them, and people can be critical of that. Or alternatively, you can use it as a kind of a good base for kit bashing and detailing yourself. I find them handy for wargaming purposes. I don't really require a huge amount of detail, and if I want it, I can put it on myself anyway. So, looking at the box there, very straightforward. You can see the Achilles itself is, of course, basically a derivative of the M10, which obviously uses the M10 chassis, shall we say, and basically they just modified the turret, put in the 17-pounder QF anti-tank gun, and that was basically it. A couple of counterweights at the back of the turret, just because that gun is larger than the 75mm that was initially fitted to that particular vehicle. Now, obviously, putting in the 17-pounder into it gave the tank tank destroyer itself a fairly upgunned performance in comparison to the M10, but it wasn't exactly a very simple job of just dropping it in there. If you've ever done anything remotely mechanical where you're substituting one piece for another, it isn't quite proprietary, you'll know it's not exactly an easy job. So a little bit of twisting and turning and chopping and filing and all the rest of it, but they eventually did get it in there in a subsequent or in a suitable kind of a format that was usable in combat and quite effective at that, in fairness as well. Now, of course, a tank destroyer is a kind of a more of a standoff weapon. You don't go toe to toe with a Panther or something in one of these. Very lightly armored but fast, so that was the sacrifice: armor for speed and armament. So let's have a look at the rest of the box here. Very straightforward, as I always say. Not much going on there. It's an Armourfast quick build. Lovely one-piece track assemblies here. Hull pieces go together. On you go with your tracks. You have your 17-pounder gun barrel there, a couple of fuel tanks, 30 cal and 50 cal, and these counterweights back here. That's it, basically. Off you go, and don't give it to children under 3. As I always say, they have a tendency to eat tanks, so not great. This one's out since 2004, so it's out quite a while. I've only just got it recently, just never got around to getting it previously, unfortunately, but we have it now. So that is the box, as I say, and nice little artwork too, in fairness. It's simple, straightforward, Armourfast kind of thing. So let's have a look at the sprue. Now, I have one piece that's come off the sprue, so I have to be a little bit careful here. So we'll move the box out of the way here for a moment, and there you go. There's your sprue. And there's a piece that came off. So as you can see, nothing particularly overtly complex there. You have your hull, you have a gun. What I like about these is that you have the muzzle or muzzle brake is already on it. Just this business of a two-piece muzzle brake for a 172 or 176 scale tank, I just find nuts, to be honest. Just don't do it. Just cast the damn thing and off we go. Again, track systems, great. Detail on the tracks is not great. I don't know why they did that. It's probably just ease of manufacture. But realistically speaking, how hard would it have been to give it the proper thread pattern on that? It's the same with all of the Armourfast stuff, to be honest, but hey, that's the way it is. Maybe the Hellcat is different, I don't know, we'll have a look in a second. So that's what you get there. You get your fuel tanks, you get your 30, your 50, your 17-pounder, and off you go. Obviously, there's no interior visible with the Armourfast, so you kind of maybe paint it black or whatever it is and put your figures in there for crew if you want to do that. So that is the sprue, as you can see. Nice little bit of detail on it though, in fairness, for an Armourfast. It's simple, straightforward, so it's not massive, but it's nice. Little odds and ends there, and it makes it easy to kit bash that into something a bit more detailed. So this is the finished vehicle. Again, just have to do a little more shading on it to bring it down. What I tend to do is I put a lot of shading on it first over the kind of the base or the primer coat, and then I bring it down with subsequent kind of dry brushings of darker or lighter versions of the main base coat. This would be 86 Humbrol enamel green in this case. But as I have it assembled now, and it's a question of do the video or not, so I'm doing it. So that's basically it. That's again, very straightforward little vehicle. As you can see, probably better there, the thread system. I don't know why, it just would have been so easy just to do kind of Sherman style threads, but hey, there you go. But as you can see, it's derived from the M10, and just to show you, we have, which you've probably seen in some previous video, another Armourfast vehicle here. This is the M10, so since we're just using the hull, and then just a slightly different moulding for the 17 pounder and the turret and that, and basically that's what you have. So in my particular instance, I'm putting together a rapid fire British anti-tank battalion, which can have a pair of Achilles, whichever way to pronounce it, two or four M10s, and a couple of 17 pounder guns towed. So I'm kind of mixing it up that way just to get a bit of everything represented. So that's basically my reasoning for having the Achilles, and that's basically it. Or Achilles, it depends on your pronunciation, as I say. Just from a size comparison perspective, let's have a little look and see how the aforementioned Hellcat tallies in with that. So there's your Hellcat, which is what, a 76mm gun, I think it is. Or is it a 90? I think it's 76. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was a fairly effective little tank killer as well. Now this one is a fairly new release from Armourfast. I think it's their most recent one actually. We only got it there a couple of months ago, and it's quite a nice little piece actually. But as I say, star of the show today is the one in the middle here, the Achilles. Here, just for another comparison as well, is a Fujimi, I think it is. I called it a Hasegawa previously, but I'm pretty sure it's a Fujimi M36 Jackson. Now I believe that the Fujimi kit is in 176, although I'd be prepared to be corrected on that. But there you go, that's just the few tank destroyers there for you, just for size comparison's sake, all of which, many of which are in need of a bit of a paint job. As you can see, this is how I'll bring it down a little bit with the base coats from the shading a little bit better. These ones are much older. I've had these for quite a long time. These go back to my initial days of wargaming in the late 90s, early 2000s, so they've been around a while. I think I actually got the M10 pretty much the first week it was released. That's a good while back now, so that would have been 2002 maybe, I'm off the top of my head, maybe 2004. Would have come out around the same time as these, obviously, maybe a little bit earlier, but there you go. So that is a little look at those tank destroyers. As I say, I like the M10s and the M36s, but to have the option of the 17 pounder gun from a wargaming perspective, it's quite interesting. It adds a little bit extra to the gaming, rather than just having the M10. So that's basically what you're looking at there, is your Armourfast Achilles, whatever you want to call it. Quick build, very handy, 2 kits in a box. Armourfast, very handy kits from that perspective. Great for building up companies or battalions from in respect to wargaming, and very good to a little bit of detailing, kit bashing there as well. So that's basically it. That's a very quick look at that particular kit. So if you'd like and subscribe, that'd be great. We'll have a few more videos coming up very soon. I have a to-do table here beside me, which is, well, overly populated with kits that have to be done. So we'll be getting onto that and giving you a bit more content fairly soon. So thanks for sticking with us, guys. All the best.